it just shows how the establishment writes the same old lies, rope-a-dope, everything's going to be okay, just work together, trust the government, we're all in this together. So we all feel good and don't actually try to change the country and realize that globalism is the problem, not the answer. That the fruits of this political class are ultra bad, not super good. And then Kurt Nimmo has an article on Infowars.com. State of the Union takeaway, dictatorship. And then another one, CNN poll, 67% oppose Obama's executive agenda. And that's their viewers, their propagandized establishment viewers, 67%. I mean, it's got to be 90% people I'm talking to are freaked out. Every black person I know that I talk to, who the media says all support Obama still, they don't support Obama. I mean, it's a hoax, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another one, Crowdhammer. When Obama repeated Guantanamo, you knew he'd sort of run out of ideas. Absolutely. He's like, let me fly people secretly to black sites and ghost sites, as they're properly called. Media calls them black sites, really called ghost sites. Let us take people into real torture camps. Give me unlimited power to disappear people. Why, there's a law that directs the Pentagon to not let me do that. I've got the NDAA saying I can do that, but there's another law. And he looks at the Joint Chiefs, you need to get behind me. It was all a push for dictatorship, exactly as we knew. And it's now being discussed on even MSNBC. And they're even having trouble promoting, well, the Republicans are blocking everything, so he's got to act alone. But they're trying to sell it, and CNN's trying to sell it. But guess what? Tyranny is not being bought. People really fundamentally we're in a depression for most people. And you guys try to act like, you know, he said 5 years into a recovery, Obama said. He turned it around in a year. No, what they did is game every statistic to a level never before seen. I mean, this is the guy that had his people put out statistics that raising the debt doesn't raise the debt. Do I even need to explain to new listeners why that's a fallacy? That's like saying 2 + 2 = 0. Do I need to explain that 2 + 2 does not equal 0? What does 2 + 2 equal? Come on, folks. What's it equal? If you're a new listener, a big Obama supporter out there, it equals 4. It does not equal 0. If you increase the debt, it increases the debt. By the way, if you're a new listener, you don't believe me, he said that in a whole bunch of speeches. And he said you can keep your doctor and it'll cut your thing in half and it'll be $2,500 a year and it'll be the cost of a cable bill or phone bill, and I'm not going to come after any of your guns, and I'm not going to hire a single lobbyist, and I'm going to be the most transparent, and I'm not going to have signing orders, and I'm going to give you 5 days to read the bills. I mean, everything is a lie. He even said in the campaign, and in the second State of the Union, I will not try to make churches be involved in abortions or birth control. Ramming that through. Obamacare does not have, remember when he said Obamacare does not give illegal aliens free health care? And then the congressman said, you lie. Like, you guys pull up the congressman, the famous clip, the congressman tells Obama, you lie, it'll be on YouTube. And the whole point is, but we'll play that old clip later. I want to get to these new ones first. Well, we played it on the Nightly News last night. It's like when you're met with a solid wall of lies. It's never been a solid wall. I mean, even the controlled media, the state-run media had enough sense to tell some truth years ago, or they knew they'd lose all their viewers. But now in the face of having competition by new media, by real media, by alternative media, by the media, they've ceased to be media. We now fill the vacuum. We're not the alternative. We are the media. We're not as important as CNN. I'm not bragging. It's a fact. We are more important. We really will tell it like it is. We really do have an agenda, and we're open about it, of freedom and telling the truth and stomping tyrants into the ground politically. You know, real advanced warfare is psychological. Real advanced warfare is never having a physical confrontation. And that's what they're trying to do with us. Well, I'm just hitting them with pure truth. As pure as I can tell it. We all see through rose-colored glasses. We all distort things one way or the other. Light itself bends and is distorted in this time-space continuum. But I'm trying to tell the truth. I have a spirit of the truth. I want justice. And that's who we are. That's who you are. If you have a local blog, you're just as important as the local newspaper. And if that local newspaper has been proven to be a shell operation, you're more important. In fact, you're the answer to their 1984. What trumps a 1984 card? 1776. I wonder what it is. If you minus 1776 out of 1984, what number do you come up with? Now, according to Common Core, I could just say whatever number I want, about 5 million. I mean, what is the calculator? 1776, 208, whatever that means. But under Common Core, I could just say 250. Why not? You don't agree with me, you're racist. You don't like being lied to? I mean, Obama said 2 weeks ago. That it really hit me last night that Obama said 2 weeks ago, quote, my approval rating is down because of race, because of racism. And I started ranting last night during the State of the Union, over the commander in traitorship, the El Comandante, El Jefe, Kim Jong-un, the great, the dear leader. And there it is. Obama says racial animus blunts approval. New Yorker reports. Bloomberg reports on New Yorker. I like how the guys actually pull up whatever I'm talking about, so I can give you the actual quote. Great job, guys. Johnny on the spot. That's kind of sexist to say Johnny. How about Jenny on the spot? Even though a guy did find it. See, they want us to be all obsessed with how we're being racist or we're being sexist, or we won't even communicate because we feel guilty for doing nothing while they're engaged in total race baiting and division. But it really hit me, and I got angry last night. I was thinking about all the stuff George Soros is doing, trying to overthrow Ukraine and put them under EU tyranny. And I thought about how when he was 11 to 15, how he was a top agent in major cities, going in and getting Jews to trust him and then setting them up and stealing everything they had. And he knew how to find where Jews were hiding. And somehow that makes him a hero on 60 Minutes, where he admitted all that and said it wasn't bad what he did. Because that's, quote, how he survived. I mean, that is the opposite of being a good person. That is the opposite of being honorable. And I just thought about how he has all these media organizations that attack me and hate me and say they're going to infiltrate us and bring us down. And it's like an act of war against me and my family. You really are scum. Some freak Nazi collaborator is running the ADL and having them say I'm anti-Semitic and having MSNBC say I'm deeply racist with no proof when my grandfathers both almost died in the Army Air Corps fighting Adolf Hitler. I reject your racist crap, you Nazi collaborating filth. I talked to somebody that knows George Soros. They were in his house. It's all black with black furniture. What a freak, man. What a demon. No wonder. And I just really, these people hate us. These people are coming after us. They're pure evil. This guy worked with the people that tried to kill my grandfathers. And then they have the nerve. One grandfather crashed on landing, almost died. The other one was in a whole bunch of missions and then had eye stroke from the sun, not wearing sunglasses, and was blind for a couple days. And that was by the grace of God, because his plane took off with the crew when he wasn't piloting it and got blown up over Germany. Because they were in North Africa, then they were in Italy, and then my dad was explaining to me last night, because he's read all the stuff, they were over Germany. Imagine my grandfather in flying coffins, that's what he was flew in, then B-17s, being shot up, being attacked, the whole 9 yards. By the grace of God, had a what's it called when you burn your eyes in the sun? It's not a heat stroke. The point is, by the grace of God, I wouldn't even exist. I barely exist by a millimeter. Because flash burn. And then here's George Soros and CNN and MSNBC saying implying I'm a Nazi or something. Man, those are fighting words, you punk, slime, piece of crap. I am so sick of you people with your fake moral high ground. And then I start seeing Obama, this race pimp. And the Democratic Party, it just started hitting me. They were the Ku Klux Klan. You can pull up the LBJ quotes from his letters and stuff, and about how I'm not about to have these, N-words, voting Republican and all this stuff and getting their rights and everything. We're going to get them on welfare and get these people back on the plantation, these dirty, stinking... I mean, this is the moral high ground of these George Soros, a top Nazi collaborator, moral high ground. ADL gives him awards. Arnold Schwarzenegger wears Nazi uniforms, death's head Nazi belts, told Rolling Stone he admires Hitler and wants to be a dictator, was in gay porn. You know, but my point is, when a real conservative was in that, they'd never get office. But because he's a sellout to the New World Order, the ADL gives him awards. I mean, the ADL are literally Nazi collaborators. That just hit me. I mean, it is so wild. Yeah, they just pulled up the quotes. These N-words, they're getting pretty uppity these days, and that's the problem for us, since they've got something now they never had before, the political pull to back up their uppityness. This is LBJ. Now we've got to do something about this. We've got to give them a little something. This is right after Eisenhower got the Civil Rights Act passed. Just enough to quiet them down, not enough to make a difference. Well, if we don't move at all, then their allies will line up against us, and there will be no way of stopping them. We'll lose a filibuster, and there'll be no way of putting the brake on all sorts of wild legislation. It'll be Reconstruction all over again by the Republicans. I mean, I'm not romanticizing the Republicans either, but the Democratic Party is Grand Dragon Ku Klux Klan. But when the Republicans and the war vets and the Christians all came together and said, we're not going to do this racist stuff anymore, they go, oh, you know what? Let me take the Grand Dragon hat off, Senator Byrne. Oh, I love you. Oh, and you turn on MSNBC, it's race this, it's race that. It's the exact stuff the Klan would use to try to recruit poor whites to politically control them. It was just a mafia. That's all it was, Dixie Mafia. That's all they've done is now convert over. And they're playing this giant race game now with everybody. And they're going to bring in the illegal aliens to be their 30 million strong new Klan brigade. And then another 30 million to vote to take everybody's guns. And then we're like, hey, that's a racist group. But we're not. Shut up, racist. This stuff even works better now. Got them all working for us. You know. I mean, and it's just, you got a Nazi collaborator. You got Obama up here who knows full well he's manipulating blacks. It's just, they're so evil. And it's like Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, Fox Sports. The NRA is the new Klan. When the NRA was founded to fight the Klan. It is literally false reality with these people. Literal false reality with the moron population out there. Margaret Sanger said it. You can pull up her quote. She said, we need to kill these black people. We need to get control of them. We're going to buy off all the black preachers. And we're going to make sure nobody gets uppity. Then we're going to abort every one of these people. And they've done it. And then if they couldn't abort you, they create the gangster culture and sell that on MTV to destroy the black community. And then like a disease, that culture then spreads everywhere else to the entire world. Weaponized CIA culture. You know, it's been declassified. They put out degenerate art, degenerate porn to again, destabilize and sabotage the psyche. And I always told you that. It was declassified last year. They do that. What do you think gay marriages and satanic ceremonies at every live TV event are? What do you think them teaching 5-year-olds to masturbate in public schools are? It is meant to screw everyone up. This is psychological warfare. To where you don't care if you have the right to not have big banks get taxes passed to bankrupt you while they're exempt. That's the real discrimination. That's the true violation of equality. Equality means just weights and measures. All men are created equal means all men have the same rights. It does not mean everyone's actually equal. If that was the case, I would be playing in the Super Bowl this week. Am I equal to those guys genetically? No. And all the drugs they're on? No. Should we put, I don't know, go next door, find some woman, 110-pound secretary, let's have equality. Let's put her in the Super Bowl coming up. Between the mules and the turkeys or whatever's playing next weekend. So all of this is going on, ladies and gentlemen. All of this is happening. And that's just one example of the fraud, of the complete and total fraud that is George Soros and Obama and all of them. And I just reject you. I see you and your filth and your con artist and your scum, and your time's coming, okay? You're never going to get away with all your BS. And all the polls, all the numbers show it. So go ahead and blow up whatever buildings you're going to blow up, globalist, and try to blame it on this. Not going to work. Because you know why? Quite frankly, I don't want to die and I enjoy life. But quite frankly, I'm so dedicated in this quest to fight tyranny, it's exhausting. I'm not worried about you killing me, scum. I'm coming at you forever. Never backing down. Never leaving. I'm coming for your ass. And we are going to beat you. And George Soros, I want to tell you something, you old man. When you die, you're going straight into hell. I know you're practicing in that house with all that satanic crap in it and black furniture and black walls. But believe me, you're going to get everything you want. Don't worry.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
There is so much news, but again, we have the clips, but you saw them, where Obama said he'll use dictatorial power to get done what he has to. On guns, you name it. He said he'd try to legalize the illegals with executive orders if they wouldn't do it. Quote, with or without Congress. Critics respond he doesn't have the authority to act unilaterally. Well, it's not even critics, it's the Constitution. And Boehner said before the speech, well, he can do some stuff executively if we don't do it, but it better not violate the Constitution. The president acting alone on borders, citizenship, guns, I mean, that's all in the Bill of Rights, folks, in the Constitution. On military stuff, the president does not have the authority to do that. The Congress is like the football coaches. They give the quarterback the plays. Quarterback doesn't start calling the plays on his own. And that's a fact, and the referees are the courts. But now we have the quarterback running everything, and guess what? He's playing for the other team. And that's the issue. If you study subversion, how empires take over, how the communists take over, it's the same thing. You come in, you subvert, you turn people against each other, you dumb them down, you take over the institutions, and then have them do bad things to discredit the institutions so you can then fully destroy them and bring in tyranny. That's why I don't just sit here and attack police, even though they're trying to turn them into evil forces, and in some cases they are, is because that plays into it. And then we attack the police, and then they get told by the establishment, see, they're your enemy, and then they're able to co-opt them while discrediting the institutions so they can later totally reform it into something 10 times worse. Oh, Obamacare, it's not working too well. I'll just be a dictator and then make it worse. Don't worry, I'm going to make the insurance companies not kick you off, and then he's not doing that. It's all just, here, I'm going to give you a hand. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to give you a hand again. It'd be like if somebody said, hey, shake my hand. You went, ooh, I'm too cool, and put your hand through your hair. And you go, shake my hand again. It's like to a 2-year-old playing with them. Oh, I tell you what, shake my hand again. Oh, shake my hand again. And in this stunted society, people want to be treated bad. I mean, on average, women want to be treated bad. They think that's dominance. That's not dominance. That's a twisted form of fake dominance on the surface. Men think it's cool to be treated bad, and that whoever treats them bad must be in charge. I mean, it is just incredible. It's incredible. I mean, they've written books about it, but it's true. You can walk up to beautiful women and tell them they're ugly, and they'll go home with you. I mean, it is sick, folks. It is totally sick, and it's not normal. Magicians will tell you that people are easier to hypnotize now. It's because they're already in a trance, in the first stages of a trance. And so what am I here to do? I want people out of their trance.
Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com, None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com.
Okay, well, we're getting the clip of Obama saying he'll act alone and operate on his own. But he's been saying that a lot in the State of the Union yesterday. But later, after Estelin leaves us, I want to talk about Vladimir Putin, because I really thought about Vladimir Putin a lot last night and the geopolitical things that are happening. And when you've gone through the depths of evil like the Russians have for 80 years, I don't romanticize the strongman Putin, but there is a psychological thing that happens sometimes when someone's actually in control, and Putin is in command to a great extent, where people actually want to build up society and get what you call a philosopher king. And the globalists actually endorse that idea, but they never really manifest. And I wouldn't say he is a philosopher king, but compared to Obama, he is. Vladimir Putin is a philosopher king compared to Obama, because he's saying men need to be strong, women need to be women and strong, family, don't try to recruit kids. You want to destabilize us with psychological warfare. I mean, that's what it is. They don't want to make kids gay because they love gay people. They want to absolutely rewrite, be like trying to teach, fish to be gay. Well, they wouldn't reproduce. There'd be no more fish. It's extinct yourself. It has nothing to do with hating someone's sexual situation. It's the force feeding of it. And Putin, I remember reading this and seeing this, was a big fan of Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who wrote the Gulag Archipelago, and talked about a strong Russia, nationalism, going back to freedom, being honorable, being stoic, and really kind of welding a 1776 type idea into the old Russian stoic Viking, because that's what Russia is, means the Rus, the red, really founded by the Vikings in Western Russia, and merged with some Asian groups, but that's what they are. It's kind of an Asiatic Viking group, Asian Viking splice. And that's why Russians are so smart, but they also have their problems. They were under Tsarist systems for so long that they never had a chance at freedom. And then our criminal government, with the big banks, on record, put the Bolsheviks in 1917. I mean, we owe Russia such an apology. They've been our ally all along against the British. They did so much for this country. In the Civil War, you name it. And then we just absolutely let the globalists put in the worst of the worst and just butcher those people up one side and down the other. And they used Russia as a giant engine of evil against Ukraine, Poland, Romania, what's the Czech Republic now, and then it created incredible enmity between Slavs and Slavs, just total evil. And now the West is attacking them with Al-Qaeda. And you look at Putin, he clearly, that's people resonate with it, he is confident because he met a lot with Solzhenitsyn, and Solzhenitsyn literally grabbed Putin and said, you will not sell people out, you'll stop being a gangster. This is reportedly a decade ago, and this only leaked out through some of my connections and sources. I went and checked it, and it's been hinted at here and there and confirmed that Solzhenitsyn basically, and he met with him right before he died too, said, stop being a sellout. Be a knight for Russia. Stand up. Be real. They will follow you. And that's why he came here in the 80s, and Solzhenitsyn left. Very honorable, stoic man, because he came and saw the decadence and the evil, and he was like, it's growing here. And it's not even like the Soviets did this to us. They would just, like a judo move, take all of our own evil that was already there, and then the punch comes, they would take it and pull it along with them. And that's why it's so easy to be evil.